So just going to stop sharing the screen for just a second, and we're going to bring up YouTube. All right, everyone should be looking at the YouTube home screen. I'm already logged in, so we're going to dive right into the session by, again, we'll just go right to my channel. We went over all of the information here and where you would edit all of this information so it shows up appropriately where it's all supposed to. Now we're going to dive into the entire back end of the studio, which is when you hit manage videos, will take you into YouTube Studio. Outside of this section of YouTube, we didn't really cover any of the menu items because most of these are going to be specific to the individual user. Your appearance, you can either have a light or dark theme, again, individual to the user. You could either choose to have multiple accounts. So if you have multiple YouTube accounts, switching accounts is what's going to allow you to switch back and forth between each of them. Or if you are delegating access to your YouTube account to a member of your team, when they log in to whatever email that you are delegating that access to, much like, again, with something like Listing Concierge, you have that on behalf of access, you'll be able to go in here and see those additional accounts that you have access to from this menu. Sign out, self-explanatory. And then again, everything else below pertains to individual users. So what you want to manage, I'm just going to switch my mode back to light because I think it's a little bit easier to look at when we're operating here. Let's dive into YouTube Studio. So when you click on this, the first thing you're going to land on is the dashboard. So think of it just like any of the apps that you open in CB Desk, like Prospect Square or InTouch. You'll land right on a dashboard that's chock full of analytics. Think of these 3 rows or columns, I should say, as such. You've got your first column here, split into 2 parts. The first is your most recent video, and you can see when it was uploaded and just a brief snapshot of analytics. The full analytics for that specific video will be available here, as well as a section to jump to any comments. Below, you will see all of your published videos that are available. Now, the key word there is published videos, because you can upload videos that are not published and available to the public. We'll cover that in a bit more detail when we get to the content section. But this just, again, gives you a quick snapshot. That first number is views. The second number is comments. I'm going to try and zoom in here without making it too weird. And then the third is likes, a little thumbs up. If you click and hover over any videos, you'll see these similar icons pop up all across the back end of this channel. The pencil stands for details. The little graph looking item, and you'll see these bigger again when we get into the content section, stands for analytics. The chat, the SMS icon, text icon, looks like that's for comments. And then the last one, the YouTube button, it's called View on YouTube. That'll take you right to whatever video you're hovering over, right to that video on YouTube from the, for the most part, consumer perspective. When you are watching your own videos on YouTube, and again, we'll get to this in more detail in a second, you will see it the same way you see your channel on the back end here. You have basically the consumer view, with the exception of there's some additional buttons that allow you to edit things that a consumer wouldn't see. Moving on, we've got your middle icon, which is all related to, again, your channel's info. So you've got analytics for the channel as a whole, with a summary, usually of the last 28 to 30 days, and your top videos. Any new comments is the middle section, and then recent subscribers is the bottom section. The last column here is all information that pertains to YouTube. I think someone's unmuted. I'm just going to hop in real quick and make sure that everybody remains on mute. All right. So
sorry about that. That was
the news is all this stuff is pertaining to YouTube and YouTube creator news or YouTube updates or anything specific to this platform. Not all of this will always be specific to you guys as real estate agents. However, some of the news and some of the information can be digested and repurposed when you think about what this thing is. And it's an arm of your marketing strategy. Plus, it's the place where you're hosting videos that you can repurpose across other channels. So occasionally, if there's something, like if you wanted to learn more a bit about the YouTube algorithm, or if you see something that maybe talks about better presenting yourself on camera, those kind of little things can always come in handy in making your life a little bit easier and trying to create stuff that your audience can engage with. But again, I wouldn't harp too much on production quality. I think it's important to remember that consumers, especially right now in this field, I think there's a certain draw to a sense of earnestness and homely or that like work from home or working from home kind of touch to everything. So it's less about how polished everything is, and consumers are more interested in how relevant and pertinent to them and up to date is the information you are presenting to them. And what kind of connection can you present to the region in which you're talking about, right? So that's where these kind of marketing tools come into play, and video gives you the opportunity to talk to your consumers instead of forcing them to read things. But I digress. The next thing you see here is known issues. You've got any kind of updates or glitches or bug things. If you think about CB Desk, think of this like the stuff you have, the notifications that pop up here. That's kind of what this is. It's updates coming from the developer. If you ever want more details, that takes you to a support article that you can find out more of. Outside of that, that's all you're going to find on the dashboard. You've got these kind of buttons that you'll see all over the place. There's your upload buttons. Create is the same thing. Will allow you to upload a video or go live. We're not really going to talk much about going live in today's segment because that, I think, is a whole other discussion in and of itself. Once the channel's set up, then you can leverage it as a place to run or host your live videos if you would like. But again, that's a whole strategy conversation on its own. Before we dive into content, I'm actually going to jump down here and we're going to talk about the settings. A few of these are going to be important to come in and double check. Just in case currency, you always want to make sure. But again, you're not really selling anything through this. Your general information for the channel, you can update to add keywords that are relevant to your channel to help it pop up in searches. The advanced settings can come in handy for saving you time when uploading videos. You can save time by creating, there's a whole subset of YouTube created for kids. None of your content is created for children. So you'll never, ever really check this button. If you do hit yes, it will move it into an entirely different algorithmic category that does you no favors for what this channel needs to do. So I would always come in here and set no as the default. You can link your Google Ads account. So if you have a Google Ads account that you're running to interact with various channels and applications, very similar to the kind of ads you can run in things like social ad engine, except these are all partnered, obviously through Google because it's a Google Ads account, or it's like Pixel for Facebook. If you have, those accounts can both be linked into InTouch, for example. So they're all managed by your CRM. But if you want to make sure that your YouTube account can get leveraged for ad purposes, make sure you link that here if you have one. Captions. There are auto-generated captions in YouTube. They are a huge asset because, again, one of the most undermarketed or a community that feels undermarketed is the deaf and hearing impaired. And making sure that you have captions available for all of your videos is vital to they're included in every piece of marketing that you do. Plus, I'll show you in a moment where you can download those captions and then repurpose them so you can also include them when you're remarketing the video and re-uploading it to things like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. But again, if there are potentially inappropriate words, this can automatically censor them for you. I just have that, it's just checked. Subscriber count. If you don't want the number displayed, you can uncheck that box. This has to do with advertisements being posted on your channel if you are monetizing the channel. Most of you probably won't monetize the channel. There's very little money you will make in a YouTube channel unless you have, thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So you really don't need to worry about any of that stuff. Managing your YouTube account will take you right to this section where you can manage your Google account, change your channel status, which will knock us back to the settings. But I want to go back because there's a couple more things I want to talk about here. You can also, if you wanted to create a new channel, as we talked about, if you want to redirect your channel to a different account, whoops. This is also managed here. YouTube Premium only has to do from a user perspective. It's not going to give you any advantage in advertising your channel. It just means you don't have to have ads and stuff like that when you're watching YouTube. So we're not going to touch on that. Advanced settings will give you your channel IDs, give you the opportunity to delete your channel or move your channel. This is where I was talking about move it to a brand account that we talked about in part 1. Notifications. This is just going to, as it sounds, will set your preferences for the browser you're using. If anything, any kind of interaction happens with the channel, you can set things in regards to what you're notified about while you're online. These settings, again, only pertain to you as a user. This has to do with what your users can view on your channel. It's up to you if you want to keep your subscriptions or saves private or not. If you have, this really won't apply to any of you guys, but these are just different types of chat or streaming accounts that you can connect. Again, purchases don't matter for you because you're not going to buy anything through here. And then we're back to the advanced settings. So I am going to jump back into feature eligibility. That was channel status. This will allow you, this is, if you disable this, it means that you don't need the verification to have that happen. If you have it enabled, it's just a set feature for protection, so you don't really need to worry about any of those settings. Upload defaults. This is where you can think of it like an email signature. So I need to delete that kind regards. If you're never really going to save a title, so I wouldn't really worry about that. What you would want to do, though, is make sure you go in here and have your contact information. If you do have any specific hashtags, like if you wanted to do You could do those kind of things here. There's a very, very minor algorithmic boost that is gained through hashtags. But like I said in part one, well, at least during the question period of part one, because it was asked, there's not the same kind of leverage gained out of hashtags in this platform as you would expect in something like Instagram or Twitter. Here, the algorithm is purely driven based off of user interaction with the content. So it's not just the eyeballs, but how many comments or likes are you getting on videos that will drive that to consumers beyond people that are looking for these kind of videos. If that makes any sense. If it doesn't, feel free to ask me questions about it later. But the algorithm discussion is a whole thing in and of itself. And again, you're not building this to game the system to get millions of views, right? Your goal here is to have a place to host videos that can be pushed out to your consumers in a efficient means that is easy for them to watch on any kind of platform, especially mobilely. But once your signature is saved, if you have anything, again, I don't, some of my videos are private or unlisted. These settings, you'll see when we're going over uploading a video public, like I talked about, those will be published videos available for anybody in the public to view on your channel. Private videos, much like it sounds like, are videos that are only viewable to you, i.e. me, the uploader. Unlisted videos are sometimes what I do for my Monday videos that go out to my agents. They are videos that are only viewable to anybody that has the link or has been shared the video. But those are the difference between the three types of viewing statuses. And then you can have tags pre-saved. Whatever you do here, as always, you want to hit that save button. Otherwise, it won't save, but it will kick you out. I'm going back to the settings. Advanced settings. Again, you're never going to fuss with any of these, but I'm just going to show you this because it exists. There is a Creative Commons attribution or the standard YouTube license. Creative Commons is like, to make it real layman's terms, the Creative Commons agreements is about as close to putting something in the public domain as it legally gets nowadays. The standard YouTube license protects anything that is original to you, and if you have any copyright holdings over any of your content, you are entitled to any of the copyright protections that are guaranteed as such. Not really important, again, in the grand schemes of what we're doing here, but it's just something I want to mention in case anybody goes in there and filters around or fusses with it. Category. Some of your videos might change category from blogs to education and stuff like that, so I really wouldn't default anything like that. Your language, however, is often going to be defaulted. And comments, I would always go into, you don't want to like hold all comments for review because that's a pain in the butt, but potentially inappropriate ones. The filter is really, really good on this kind of things. I would set it that way. Permissions, this is where you can set other users to gain access to your channel. So if you wanted to invite, you just type in the email and then give them a status. They can be a manager, an editor, a limited editor, a viewer, or a limited viewer. All of the descriptions are completely listed down here. You can determine what's best for whomever you are giving access to that channel. The community section will give you the opportunity. This gets real deep. But if you wanted to add a moderator, again, I would just gain permission to someone. You're really not going to deal with this. Same for approved users. Hidden users are just if you've got someone trolling you, you can block them, and if you need to block words, you can do that. It's basically, and like it sounds like it's an automated filter. Same thing, you want to set your comments on new videos to default to hold potentially inappropriate comments. Comments in your discussion tab, hold potentially inappropriate. Same thing for live chats. And If you are interested in YouTube's terms of service agreement that we discussed earlier, you can read it in its entirety here. After we hit save, that is the settings library, and I'm doing great on time. Let's dive into content. All of your uploaded videos pop into the content library. Default sorted by date. So the most recent video will appear here, and your oldest video will appear. Wow, I have a lot of videos on several pages, apparently, in my case. And what you're looking at, again, is like a quick snapshot of analytics. You've got each video, and as you can see when we hover over them, I've got those icons I talked about earlier. The pencil for details, the graph for analytics, the chat for comments, the YouTube button to view the video on YouTube, and then a 3-dot section that will allow you to go into edit, again, get a shareable link, promote the video, which is buying an ad, which we're not going to talk about because I don't really think you need to do it. Talk about that kind of stuff with your FMS as a part of your marketing plan. You can download these videos if you've lost them, or you can delete them forever, which, much like it sounds like, will delete the video forever. Status, again, public, private, unlisted, can be changed. You can also schedule things to premiere, like if you are going to if you've recorded a home tour video and you're going to have it premiere to your audience and you're going to advertise it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then have it go live on Thursday at a certain time, this is how you could do that. Otherwise, you can have videos go live when they're ready. Any restrictions you will see pop up here. Copyright claim. This means I used music in this video that I do not own the copyright for. All that means in this case, and in conservatively speaking, 95% of the cases, 99% of the cases, all that's going to mean is you cannot monetize the video. In 1% of those cases, based on previous litigation that YouTube may have had to deal with from whomever is the copyright holder, the music may just get pulled out. And by that, YouTube may automatically mute a section of the video that contains that copyrighted music. In the grand scheme, to avoid that, don't use copyrighted music. There is an audio library we'll talk about in more detail. It is right down here in this menu, and there's tons of free stuff in there. But as you can see, you've got date uploaded, a quick view count, comment count, and a like versus dislike count. The only other tab here is live. Any live streams that you've done, you've got the same kind of data, as well as the ability to download that live video. So you could then cut it, re-edit it, and repurpose it. So if you did a live tour of a home, for example, and that tour consisted of the same home tour happening every 30 minutes for 3 or 4 hours, you could just cut down to the best 30 minutes and repurpose that video as something that gets used on the channel. But, moving on. Playlists. This will allow you to group things for your channel. So for example, I have got all of my new my classes grouped into a playlist, and I've got a new playlist that is private because there's nothing in it. If I wanted to add a new playlist, I can hit new playlist. If I want to delete this playlist, I can go in here, and there's all kinds of, as you can see, you can edit information for a playlist. You can make it private, public, unlisted, or you can collaborate and make it a shared playlist that you and another user can upload videos to. But that's getting into some real complicated stuff. But now that I've deleted my playlist, let's just go back to my dashboard. And just like that, there's no new playlist. You can also, if you're uploading a new video, that will be the start of a new playlist for itself. You'll see when we go through the uploader, you can actually create a new playlist when you're uploading a video. Analytics. This will give you channel analytics as a whole. So we're looking at all of my videos over the period of the last 28 days. Up here is where you can change that breakdown. You can go last 90 days, lifetime, whatever works best for, whatever you're trying to accomplish. When you're on the content page, the little analytics buttons that are listed here, these, if you click on any one of those, will give you video analytics. Those are just specific for that individual video and will let you know, for example, where people are jumping in and out, where there are dips, what is the strongest hold through of an audience for a specific video. All of this data, just like any kind of analytics for any marketing that you do, tells you how is this reading with your audience, so you can make the necessary changes or dive deeper into what seems to be important to them. I do want to stress that proper analytics take a good baseline, and a good baseline doesn't happen. Like, none of this stuff in regards to a marketing strategy is something that's the flip of a light switch. I am of the mind that a strong baseline consists of data that's collected over a 12 to 18 month period. So this is something just like any marketing strategy. I mean, it's the start of a new decade. We're about to move into year one, and you want to think about, what can I develop now that I can really leverage and drive myself into and stick to? So that way in 2022, 23, 24, I can really evaluate my business and the successes that I've had and try and make sustained and exponential growth to hit my goals for the end of the decade, and not just always be thinking about the next 6 months or the next 12 months, right? You want to start thinking about your marketing strategy just like your business plan. You should have a 12-month plan that is built with a contingent 3 and 5 year plan attached to it. Same thing with marketing, and not just the individual video analytics, but the channel analytics come in handy as a whole with this, because they won't just give you stuff like, again, we're looking at data not just for what's being viewed on YouTube, but everywhere these videos are being, because they're being hosted on this platform, but I'm being shared all across I use them in InTouch videos, I use them in or like InTouch emails, I use them in regular emails, I use them in social media. Like, they get shared all different kinds of places. And again, I can take that data back, and you can see what kind of traffic sources you're getting for what videos, where, you've got source types, you've got a lot of my views come from Outlook because, again, I'm sending these to my agents attached into emails that are going from my Outlook. But leverage this information, right? And as you start getting more and more of it back, the better chance it has at giving you or I should say, giving you the ammunition to make educated decisions in regards to how you're spending your finances for marketing purposes. And again, do they go into one of those 2 channels we talked about in part 1? Is the advertising I'm doing driving awareness of my brand, or is it something that engages my consumer and drives a lead? Those are the importance of the analytics, and that's where you can break them all down. Comments, self-explanatory, will give you a whole readout of the comments for all of the videos that you have and what videos there are on. Anything that is held for review will be here. If you do not review them within 60 days, they are automatically deleted. Subtitles, clutch. Usually within 24 hours of you uploading a video. I uploaded my part 1 video yesterday, so we can click on it and my captions will have automatically generated. So we can go in here. Oops. Oh, they haven't already generated. Let's go back. And oh no, I think they've killed this program. Sorry guys, I lied to you guys. They've killed the auto caption program. So if you wanted to upload, you can add them here. That's unfortunate. I apologize about that. I thought they were going to not do that, but they have. If you have any requested removals of videos for copyright infringement, you will see them here. If you want to submit one, you can submit one there. Monetization, again, not important. We're not going to go over it. Customization, this brings you back to that first tab we were talking about in day one. This is basically the home page for my video. So you can see the channel trailer, returning subscribers, and my playlists. So that's the YouTube Studio. Let's just quickly talk about uploading a video before we open up the floor for questions. So this create button is available almost everywhere you are on YouTube when you're logged in. I'm just going back to the main page to reinforce that point. It is this little camera with the plus. Upload or go live. So let's say I want to upload a video. You can upload a video by dragging and dropping a video right into here, or you can click here and do it the old-fashioned way by going and selecting a video that you want to upload. I will just go ahead and upload that. And you will see blast off. There we go. Video is starting to upload. You've got a handy bar right here. That'll give you the upload time. Now I need to give this title a video, this video a title. We're going to call it video of the day. And then again, you can see that automatic signature is populated in here. So I can just go in here and type whatever the actual description of the video is. Your thumbnail will give you the option, once the video has finished uploading, it will select 3 frames from your video and give you the option to choose that as the thumbnail. Or you can upload an image, which, again, we talk about branding, right? I am a big fan of, you plan ahead with your business plan. If you've worked with the design team to have a logo made in Design Concierge, I would always ask them to have a couple of tweaked versions of it, or if you can reach out to your FMS, they can maybe talk to the design team. You can have a couple of versions of it, or just use your logo as it is, whatever works best. But I'm a big fan of maybe having 1 or 2 versions. So you've got your standard logo, which is all of your regular blog type videos for your consumers. You've got another one that has maybe a slightly different version of the logo that is for all of, or something that has the logo and maybe some text attached to it to let them know when the videos are all going to be market updates. Have this one. Ones that are home tours have another one. It depends on what you're doing. But again, enough rambling. Now that the video is finished uploading, it will process. First thing it does is process the video in standard definition and then high definition. But basically, this link is live once that upload has finished. And once it's in the processing mode, anyone can watch it. Once it starts processing, they can watch it in pretty crummy quality. Once it's finished processing, like it has been, it will be available in HD. And that is right there, the link that you wanted to share. This, again, will allow you to choose whatever it gives you the option in the editor, and I'll show you that in a sec. If I wanted to add this video, if it pertained to one of my existing playlists, I can add it here, or I even create an entirely new playlist, give it a title, make it public, private, or unlisted, whatever the case may be. If I wanted to, I could do that here. Again, default is already set. No age restriction. We can go right to next. Sorry, that jumped twice. Now that that's finished, we can see here, this is what this is talking about. It'll give you the option to Pick a title card. Next, this will give you the option, if you've created a default for this, which I haven't, you can import one from a old video. What you want to do is, I always talk about with agents, create a couple of ending cards. This will allow you to drop what you can see here, and you can move these around. These are the points. If you watch people that have regular YouTube channels, they always have those little spots where you can go click here to subscribe to my channel, always be notified about things. Click here. So if this is a home tour video that you did, you can say, you can click on this box that's popping up right now, and instead of, the video that's best for viewer, which will algorithmically supply one of your videos best made for that viewer, you can go to your most recent upload, or you can choose a specific video of yours to pop in to that space and say, this, if you want to see my most recent home tour, or if you're doing a series on market reports and data in your county and breaking it down by cities, you could say, if you missed part 1, there's part 1. Again, utilizing this stuff to your advantage. And then here is just the little editor where you can choose where in the timeline that element is going to pop up. And if you just want to delete any specific elements, you can do that. I can discard all my changes if I don't want to save them. You can also add your own individual cards if you don't want to use one of those templates. There's all kinds of stuff you can play around with here. Again, all of the focus being to help keep a consumer on one of your items, or remind them to, stay connected to you. Outside of that, the last section is going to be where you can set the status of the video. So again, I didn't have any default, so it's going to give me the option to choose. If you don't select anything, it remains private. Schedule will allow you to schedule anything, and then when you're done, actually you can't not select anything. So I'm just going to select unlisted, hit save. And now you can see one more time, it gives you your link, a quick share tab to go to any of these connected apps. I'm going to go ahead and hit close. And when you go right to content, you'll see right where that video has popped up, because it's the most recent one. We can then go into details, and if you wanted to, again, further make any edits to the videos, or if you wanted to jump back to any of your old videos and make edits, adding screen caps, things like that, this is where you would do any of those items. Or, like I said, if we wanted to delete a specific video, we can go here, delete forever, check the box saying you understand this is permanent and cannot be undone, and then delete forever. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open up the floor to any questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I know I'm signed on as my fiance, Donald Apperson, but my name is Sherry. Thank you. And
Hello.
I just wanted to, I wanted to ask you, in terms of making videos, what apps or what do you use to actually create the video content so that you can, edit it or whatnot? Or do you just like do a video with your phone, upload it, and then edit it there? Or how do you do that?
So, good question. I think that it all kind of depends on your comfort level with this kind of software, and B, again, how much of an investment are you making in this? I again want to stress that I don't think production value is something that should be a focus right out of the gate.
Right.
Like simple is something that is key with communicating with your audience. Free software that's really great, and that can that can accomplish a lot of the tasks. Things like I know anybody that has an Apple computer has iMovie. Windows, I'm sure, has there's I mean, with Windows there's tons of free different video editors and softwares you can try. So I would always recommend to find what software works best for you. I have a couple of classes in my YouTube channel, and I do it like once a quarter. I work with the Adobe software suite, so all of the videos that I use are edited in Premiere Pro, which isn't a cheap software, but it's one that can encompass everything from simple videos to high-end production value. It's got a wide range, but again, it all depends on what you are comfortable working with and how much you think you can grasp. So it's
Right. I think you get better as time goes on, but as I'm still learning how to do that, I've taken videos with my phone and then I'm like, oh, it's not, not to try to make it perfect, but like I might leave something
yeah,
out
just
or want to
name
add
things.
something.
What kind of computer do you have?
I have a Microsoft HP computer.
Okay. When you get the recap from me, go ahead and it'll go to the email that you registered
Right.
with. So go ahead and fire me an email back and just remind me, hey, what are some software for
Okay.
Windows that you recommend? And I can
Okay.
give you a list of a couple that you can look through and
Okay.
decide if any of them feel like they might work for you.
I really appreciate that help, because I've been trying to figure that one out, and being a novice at this stuff and trying to get up to speed quickly on it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And I
not a problem.
appreciate your classes. They're very informative.
Thank you. Richard had his hand up first, and then I'll go to Anita.
Yeah, great question. How do you go? You had it to where you have your video up, and within that video, you say, go ahead and look at my other video up at the right corner. Just click on it, and it'll go. How do you set that up again?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll share my screen and get right back into that. Boo, 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 boo. My screen is not shared, is it? Hold on. All right. So you can do this with any of your pre-uploaded videos, or when you're uploading a video, it'll be the second, like that second step will be where you get to do it with new videos. With old videos, you just go into the details and then cards or end screen. End screen is automatically going to dump this right towards the last, I think 30 seconds, pardon me, or 15 seconds of a video. Going to cards will allow you to scrub your timeline, and then you can choose a video and say, if you already know in the video, right, you've planned to say, I want to add that there. So that's how you'll get that suggested one. You can say click in the top corner and you'll see how that popped up there where my finger or my mouse is.
I'm trying to find your mouse.
This top right of the little video screen.
Yes.
So it gives you that suggested one. So that's how you do the little ones like this. If you want to do the big ones, those are the end screen cards where you can see now it'll give you the template where you can choose. You've got 2 videos and a subscribe. The circle is always going to be a subscribe. So you choose whichever one you want, and then you've got a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a small box within the video. So it gives me a boundary of where I could put this. And then here's where you get the actual video icon. So instead of just the suggestion bar, it'll give you the video that you can click on. And then here's where you can either choose a specific video, drive something algorithmically for the user for your channel, or make it your most recent upload. So depending on what you're saying in that section, you can kind of tailor that for that.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Again, anybody feel free. Anita was next, I believe.
Hi there. I wanted to say that the young lady who asked about what would be a great products to review for making the videos, I was just hoping maybe you could just, when you send out the email, you just include that because I would love to have that list as well. And I'm sure if I would like that list, someone else on the
Yeah.
call
In that
well.
case, I'll just put together a both Windows and Apple list and attach it to the recap.
That'd
That
be
would be,
awesome. Thank you.
thank you for saying that. I think that would help too. Thank you.
You guys are very welcome. So again, if anybody has any questions, feel free. Go ahead, Richard.
I got my notes here. Just not a lot, but
No, no,
within the
feel free.
video, when you're taking the video with your phone and then you upload it to your computer, get it onto YouTube, and then you want to go ahead and add like a comment, living room, dining room. How do you go about doing that?
Like in the video itself, that would be something that's handled while you're editing the video. So those kind of things are before you think about even uploading it.
Okay, got
Yes,
it.
those
And
kind of things are handled in the editing process. Like I said, if you the YouTube channel that all of my videos that you guys get in the recaps lead you to, if you go into my Coldwell Banker classes section, I've done a class on Adobe, and like I said, that's a fairly comprehensive software, but it's the one I'm most comfortable using because I used it a lot in the industry I worked in prior to this. So it's the one I'm equipped to teach on. But if you guys want a kind of an idea of what uh, a fairly standard, like, standard video editing software as far as like professional grade software looks like and would operate like, that's like it's about a 45 to 60-minute class that you guys can check out. And then again, I'll include a list of some recommended softwares. But with programs, it's just all about comfort level. And like I know people that at the professional level that really like the Adobe software suite but aren't comfortable with it, so they use things like Avid or it's just whatever you're good with using. So I'm a big fan of getting your hands dirty and that kind of stuff, giving it a shot, especially when it comes to if you want to add things like text and kind of customize the videos to have a rhythm like that. You want to get comfortable with the software so you get used to, okay, this is the timeline and I need, at least 2 hours to edit, a 5-minute video down to whatever. So you can kind of start to get into a schedule that works for your marketing calendar. Go ahead, Richard.
I know I've been on some YouTube videos, and you can't leave a comment. When we create our video, is it already defaulted to where it will they can leave a comment?
Correct. So when you go into that settings spot where I'd switched and showed you where you can in the advanced settings where you can have comments posted, but it'll automatically filter for anything that it deems inappropriate to allow you to review it ahead of time. I'm not, you don't want to turn comments off because engagement is one of the things that like we're aiming to get out of these videos.
Okay. And one last question. How do you drive traffic to your YouTube channel? So if I create one, just my first very one and get it out for 2021, and I want to get a lot, sorry.
No problem.
Want to get, yeah. How can I start off with the kick?
So this is where again I would get in touch with your marketing specialist and have a discussion of like what does this marketing strategy look like, and I'd be the first to tell every agent that there's no light switch strategy to something like this, especially in our industry. What you're gonna want to do is consistency is the name of the game, right? And providing something of value to your consumers. So the first target is always going to be your sphere and being that knowledge base for both real estate and the community to your sphere and to start to bubble it out from there. I would very much, like I said in part one, think of your YouTube channel as an asset to your marketing strategy. So instead of driving traffic to YouTube per se, we're using the videos hosted on YouTube with built-in call to actions to drive traffic to your website, or get traffic from places that were posting the I should say reposting the YouTube video to like a week or a week and a half after the fact. So when you re-upload the video to your Instagram channel or your Facebook channel later on, always remind everybody, if you want to get these right away, this is the YouTube channel to follow. That would be the kind of strategy I would take, or I would recommend an agent to take. These kind of things need to be worked in a very cyclical manner with a specific purpose. And the purpose of this asset in most marketing strategies will be as the primary source to host videos that are part of a greater marketing strategy that you are trying to leverage. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Mr. Jaber, go ahead. You have your hand up. Feel free to unmute. If you aren't able to, I don't hear you. If you want to type your question into the chat, feel free to do that. I also dropped a link to a survey. It was the same link that you guys saw last time, but if you would love to fill it out again, I would greatly appreciate it, as the year is ending and we are all coming up on our annual reviews. These are always fun times. If you guys have anything you would like to share, constructive or in kudos, please feel free to click the link and fill out the survey. It'll also be attached in the recap that I send to you, which will have a link to this class, as well as will take you to my channel, where I mentioned you can find some of the other videos that I was talking about.